everyone, Michelletaylorlpcc. I wanted to do a video today on chaos, crisis, and how to deal with it, because is that not the theme of 2020? I think I did a video on this earlier on this year of what to do when you feel overwhelmed with all the negative things around you. How, with circumstances so terrible around you, the things that are so uncontrollable, how are you able to maintain a sense of calmness, neutrality, peace, joy? It's challenging. And let me tell you from experience, this year has not been easy for anyone, particularly for me. This last year, last 2 months, lost my dad unexpectedly. It was a very quick diagnosis of cancer, and then within 3 weeks he was gone. And it was, I don't even think I'm still recognizing how quick it was. I'm in the middle of what I know as complicated grief, where it went so fast that I didn't really have time to process it. And what I'm recognizing, and I'm being very vulnerable in this video because I'm learning a lot about not only my clients' experiences, but also just mental health in general. I thought I knew a lot until these things happened to me, and now I'm learning even more. And I try to maintain that sense of, why is this happening to me? Not having that, but why did this happen to me is kind of like a victim's mentality. Why did this happen to me? I try really, really hard not to go there. And I really try to reframe it and say, what is this trying to teach me? As painful as it's been to lose my dad, I've really had to make an effort and have a strong why of why I want to reframe everything into, what is this trying to teach me? And don't get me wrong, it's really, really a lot easier just to go, why did this happen to me? I'm grieving my life before all of this stuff. The death was hard, but the aftermath of death is even harder. The change, the restructuring, the helping each other out, the being there for family, not only being present about my own emotions, but being present for my family and friends' emotions, because they were affected by his death too. And I bring up my dad's death not to make it all about that, but I try to look at the bigger picture here. I know everybody faces some sort of crisis in their life. Death is inevitable. Crisis is inevitable. Anxiety is inevitable. Suffering is inevitable. These are things about life that we cannot change. And I think that dysfunctional anxiety and dysfunctional depression come when you try to change that fact. When you try to rub up against those truths about life. Life is going to have suffering. And if you care about anything, when you are vulnerable enough to care, you're inevitably going to endure suffering if it's taken away. So that's the risk you take in caring. So, not to be a downer, when you care about something, you experience a lot more in life, a lot more joy, but also, unfortunately, a lot more pain. One of my really awesome supervisors, Bob Northcutt, a long time ago, shout out to Bob, he drew 2 lines for me on a piece of paper one day and was explaining to me that when clients come to me, they live in between these 2 lines. This sense of safety, this trust that they have in between these 2 lines, that they're going to be okay. Some people's lines are really squeezed tight and they live in this little tiny space because everything on the outside is too scary, and so they really kind of pull themselves in between these 2 lines so that they're not hurt anymore. And that looks like avoidance. When you squish yourself in between these 2 safe lines, that's avoidance. And what my job is when I see them is to help them figure out what they're missing on the outside, and if that's serving them as much as it is serving them to stay in here. And after I figure out how it's serving and not serving them, to help them slowly, incrementally be vulnerable enough and courageous enough to push those lines out little by little, so that not only are they able to experience more in their inner world, but they're also risking that possibly something else bad could happen. And life is not about always avoiding painful things. You're going to experience difficult, hard things. Again, I go back to my mugs. I can do hard things. You are not going to be void of hard things in your life. You're not going to be void of suffering, no matter how hard you try. You can lock yourself up in a room for the rest of your life, but something is going to make you suffer there. And as soon as you kind of accept the fact that this is one of the major realities of life, of living, is suffering, as soon as you accept that fact, then you can move into how to deal with suffering, how to move forward with suffering, how to embrace it and how to learn from it. And what is this trying to teach you? What growth can I have through this suffering? I really like the metaphor that, I forget how it goes, but diamonds are made through pressure, and soil, plants are rooted in the darkness of soil to grow. And, if we simply look at those two facts, that these beautiful things are created in darkness and in pressure, so can we. We are beings that flourish even though we have hard things given to us all the time. And our bodies are very much representative of that too. If you look at the complexity of your body, that, it maintains this pH for us to be alive at all moments. Our heart beats. It beats for us as long as it can in order for it to keep us alive. The many functions of our body that it has an immune system that wants to fight things off to stay alive. Our bodies want to stay alive. It struggles and goes through hard things in order to grow and stay alive. And that is the human experience, that even though bad things happen, we push through it and we learn and we grow and we remember the pain so that it teaches us what we need to learn from it. So to those of you out there who are really struggling, and I can't tell you how many Californians that I know that are in the wildfires right now. And God, if 2020 couldn't be any worse with quarantine and everything else, personal things that are going on, but also fires literally around you, and droughts, and there's just so many environmental factors in life that could take us down. There's so many political things that can take us down. It's just a very stressful time. What I recommend is pulling away as much as you can of the external stressors, as much as you can. I know you can't. If you're by a fire, you're by a fire, but stay safe. But external stressors that are put on you that traumatize you, like reading too much news, being on social media too much, all of those extra things that you do to traumatize your brain and give you more suffering during a time that's already a little too much suffering, you're doing yourself a disservice. Replace those things with more healthy behaviors, things that will improve your body, that will help your body grow. And to whittle that down to the most basic things, get more sleep, eat right, and move every day. Go for a walk. Those are the basics right there. If you don't do that every single day, you eat right, you sleep right, and you move right, you're going to feel like crap. So on top of all those three things, if you're adding more stress by reading the news too much or looking at the stresses in the external world that you can't control too much, your body's going to tear down. So I encourage you all to make a promise to yourself that tonight you're going to go to sleep by a certain time. Put your phone away and go to sleep and get as much sleep as you can, good sleep. And tomorrow, make a plan for yourself to eat right. Do the thing, give yourself the nourishment in your body that your body craves and needs. I love looking into new diets. I've really enjoyed the Walls Protocol. And it makes, I think of it as that I'm giving my mitochondria in my brain what it wants. You know, it craves vegetables. It craves the nutrients from vegetables. And when I eat vegetables, I literally say out loud, "You're welcome, mitochondria. Here you go." And it's like feeding a little pet. All those mitochondria in my brain, enjoy it. And when I think about that I'm doing that for them, it makes eating healthier easier. So, eat better tomorrow and move. If you can't do a real, like, solid workout, at least, you know, do what you can. If you're bedridden and you can't move, then tense your muscles up in bed for a certain amount of time. Do a PMR exercise on YouTube. If you can't go for a walk because you're injured, then do something in a chair. Like, find some chair exercises. There is no reason why you can't find some way to move your muscles. Your muscles are made to move. We are not made to sit in chairs. So, if I can encourage you to do anything, is replace your bad behaviors that you're adding to the stressful world right now with healthier behaviors, little by little. And that looks like eat right, sleep enough, and move. Move. It really does help your mental health. Anyways, this was a long video. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you soon.